Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies. We're coming to you with our 200th episode.
200, baby.
Woo!
Let's test it.
Booker's tested.
Booker's.
Test it.
Test it.
Booker's.
Test it.
Tested. All right, Bruno, we're back now. We've already done Booker's bourbon.
All right.
What?
200.
Yeah, what? Oh.
We got two of them?
What? Yeah, this is the Booker's bourbon we did a while back. That's going away. What is this?
Booker's rye.
Woo! And I've been digging the rye, baby.
Big time batch.
Yes, now we're breaking the rules, first of all. We usually do, Saturdays is usually Scotch and world whiskeys.
Yep, but we came into a bottle of this and thought it's limited enough. The world of whiskey knows of Booker's rye.
They do.
Let's do it.
And
It's our 200th that deserves something special.
Now, I was a little bit more like, and you were like, no. You like ruled over me with an iron fist.
Right.
You did. You were like
Right.
caning me.
Well,
like a stoning.
We talked about it.
We did.
And I went through everything. I said, we'll do the Booker's rye. We can do this, that. Yep.
Well, you know what I
yep,
thought? I
yep.
thought our 200th was triggering on a Wednesday.
Oh.
And then when we got closer and I could actually see the math,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, it's a...
Yeah, all of a sudden,
it's a
2 days
Saturday.
ago, he goes, hey, we need to do a Scotch.
Yeah, it's a
I'm like, no,
Scotch.
we're doing the Booker's rye.
I'm like, well, why don't we go with our other option, which was...
No,
What did I want
we're
to do?
doing the Balvenie Portwood.
I wanted to do the 21 year.
I go, we talked about doing the rye. We're doing this and that. And
Yeah, right.
I goes, I don't remember that.
No, I remembered talking about the Booker. But then, as we got close, I thought, well, we also talked about the Balvenie 21, and with it being a Scotch Saturday release...
Let's do this, because what we're going to do, we're breaking from tradition
True.
also.
Can I open this?
Yes, this is unopened, okay? When we first started doing reviews, we would buy a bottle, we'd break the seal, we'd pour it, we'd
Yes.
taste it.
Experience it for the first time with you, the viewer.
Then we started, we realized we got to spend more time with the whiskey. We need to do this and that. So we started
Always put
basically
that glue on
testing.
the back.
Yeah, so we started testing it beforehand, taking our notes. We'd pass the bottle to the other one. We'd do it. Then we would review it.
Much better way of doing it, but it took away a little bit from our surprise factor on camera. Like, woo, like if you go back and look at the Aberfeldy, when I nosed the Aberfeldy, which is probably what, we didn't even number episodes then, it was probably like 87. I was blown away by the wonderful nose. So,
Real quick though, I'm going to break the seal. Let's pour a glass so this can start to air.
good.
While we're kind of talking.
Okay.
And we acknowledge this video may take 30 minutes.
This one might be long.
This may
Usually,
take-
I'm keeping it short.
Maybe we will edit it and speed it up if there's some dry spells.
But I'm editing this one, so there won't be any kind of weird, rude kind of co-host
As
behavior.
long as someone ain't babbling.
What? By the way, check out the shirt. This is another manga shirt. Trini and C love these.
We got a lot
Trini
going
and-
on today.
We do. Trini and C love these, but I found there's more manga out there, and I thought for the 200th episode, got to do it. Look at that.
Yes, and I was
Check that
kind
out.
of grimaced.
Yeah, you were like, he like was like visibly pained him. You're doing that for a 200th, of course.
There goes the cork.
Ooh. Still love the sound, even though I know it's not. Although these are like these fake corks,
Synthetic.
synthetic corks.
Now, let's let this start airing a little bit
We'll
while
air
we're
it.
talking.
Right. Because
You got
one
a
thing.
drop of water in there.
Oh, heinous. One thing we did learn is that another real positive thing about pre-tasting and then tasting it again is that a little oxidization has happened to the bottle, and we've seen flavor profiles morph a little bit over time. And so again, our preferred method is still to taste it, test it well ahead of when we film, and then we're getting a second look, a second taste, a second nose on it with our notes when we film. And I still think that's the best way.
I
You
think so
agree?
too, yes.
Yeah. But neither of us have tried this, and we wanted to go back for our 200th episode and kind of reminisce about how we'd started. First of all, you've gotten a lot better since the beginning.
I think so.
You're supposed to be like, what?
So. No,
I think we've both gotten better since the beginning.
Yeah.
My wardrobe's gotten immensely better. Yeah. Come on now. Bring it up. I'm not wearing a crazy hat on this one, primarily because in our first episode, I wasn't into the crazy hats yet, so I thought crazy shirt's enough. Why detract from the manga?
Yeah.
What else you got going on in that head of yours?
Booker Noe. No Booker.
Sorry, I had
Booker
to smell
Noe.
it just sitting there.
In 2003, he laid down this rye. The first rye he had done. The only rye he had done.
Really?
Fred Noe. And on the bottle, Dad always liked the challenge of rye grains. He created a rye whiskey and laid these barrels down in his favorite rack house. The first ever Booker's rye whiskey was born. This is big time all the way and remains robust and uncut, just how my dad liked it. Now that's from Fred Noe. And they labeled this one, each one of the Booker's limited editions, they kind of give a special name. This one is the big time batch.
Wow.
And it tells you on here that this is aged for 13 years, 1 month, and 12 days.
And it's got a bottle number on it too, doesn't it?
Bottle number 2315.
Wow. Now I was a little shocked. Scott's a bit of a collector.
Yes.
You've stuck to the philosophy of bottles of whatever are meant to be opened and enjoyed. But it's been close for you a couple times.
Somewhat.
Do you have a couple stashed that I'm not aware of?
Yes.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling you've got some secret ones that you want.
This one was going to go on the shelf for a while.
Yeah.
And I thought with our 200th coming up, and I thought about doing it this way for our 200th episode. And so we decided to open it up.
Yeah.
Now, so Booker Noe laid down this batch of rye in 2003. He made the whiskey from a secret recipe.
Secret?
He hid it somewhere, or they put it somewhere.
The recipe or the booze?
The recipe for the only rye whiskey ever done by Booker's.
Okay.
And then he passed away.
Goodness.
No one knows where the recipe is at or how Booker Noe made this rye.
Now, is this just marketing or is this true?
Nope, that's true.
Wow. Okay.
So whether or not they could recreate this, no one knows.
I want to add in that when I suggested we cover a Scotch, Scott threatened me with the bottle. And I don't mean like hitting me with it. It was basically like, well, maybe this needs to go on my collector's shelf. If we don't try it now, we don't ever try it. I was like, what?
It's the 200th episode.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it out because it's special. And
Yeah.
It's now or never.
And it was like I had urinated on his dream. You didn't think that sentence was coming out. I urinated on his dream because he basically was going to take his ball and go home. And I'm like, you know what? If that's your thought, take your ball. Take your ball. I don't bend to threats. And then I smiled and said, I'm just joking. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. And I won't urinate. All right, now, so that's interesting. I will say, and I'm going to say it, it's our 200th episode, I still lean towards Scotch and single malts. I do. However, next in line, ryes. Ryes are way moving up for me. They've moved past bourbons for me. I love the power, the robustness, the spark, the in-your-face, the rye bread. I love ryes. He's got a couple ryes that I bought that he's testing right now. And, dude, I had to hide them from myself. I thought maybe I got a problem because I was like, woo, I'm draining them. I'm like, I love these.
Well, and that's easier to do though when if you get into one and it's $20.
Bingo.
You're like,
bingo.
$20.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out, Dickel. That's all I'm saying. Dickel rye. Ooh, sorry, but we're here for this. We're here for this. All right, so should we nose it, try it, let it sit while we blabber on?
Sure, we can.
Okay, because this one's gonna be long.
And
He's even allowed me.
We're even gonna let the bottle breathe a little
Yes.
bit. We're gonna leave the cork off of it. A lot of people believe, I've witnessed it, you've witnessed it. If you let a bottle, you can open up a bottle and sometimes maybe it's a little harsh, it's not what you expected, you get different notes. You let it sit and you let it get some air And I'm talking a few months, usually sometimes shorter, but you give a bottle, you have a couple drinks out of a bottle and it drains some down. And then you let it sit for a few months, and that oxidation,
I call it sit for a bit. Yeah, sit bit.
happens, and it can change the flavor profile of a whiskey.
I've seen it. I've gone from like my notes are like ee or ah, and then I'll try it again as we sometimes get closer to maybe reviewing it on the show, and I've been like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
And I add new notes. I don't get rid of my first notes, but I add in like, hey, new date, tried it on this date, I'm getting different stuff. So there's a huge change in it. You know what I haven't experienced yet, and I got a little nervous. I've still got that the Brook Lottie Black Arts. That's about a year and a half old, and I started figuring out it needs to be finished. I don't want it to go bad. I don't know if it goes bad. But
I've been reading a little bit on that, and there's
strong notes.
there's a lot of factors that come into play with that. One, it depends on the higher proof an alcohol is. They say it lasts even longer. The emptier the bottle is, it doesn't last as long. If it's kept in a dark, cool environment, it lasts longer.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of factors and stuff. Some people, once a bottle gets down to say like there's a third of it left, they put it into another container that has, so there's not as much air in there with
So
the
they
whiskey.
kind of like decanter it, but in something smaller.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, what are you getting on nose?
Nose is very, I want to say, powerful.
Strong.
Yeah, boy, it punches you in the
can't
nose.
get it too close.
No. And really, I don't pick up too much rye on the nose. It's a strong bourbon.
See, I'm getting a little bit of rye, but a little bit of the bourbon floral kind of nose.
A little bit
Hold
of
on. There's something there. All right, I'm getting a little bit of the rye bread. But you got this one
not as
come
much as you
in
would
real
think.
easy. Open your mouth when you inhale, it helps. And I'm not making my angry chipmunk thing with my circular breathing.
Sweet, orange zest, caramel.
I'm getting your orange zest. Surely you get that loaf of rye bread.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. It's not as strong as I expected, though. This also, like on the label, said it's uncut and unfiltered. It is 68.1% ABV.
Wow.
Probably look at your Booker's bourbon and what is it? I know it's in the 65 to 66% range as well. They like stuff at 64.3%.
Wow.
So it's strong.
It is.
Great color, and of course, like they said, this is 13 years old.
It is nice. Now, I'm serious. There's a trick. If you open your mouth while you're nosing something real strong, you can sometimes pick up some notes. It almost like dilutes the power of the alcohol in your nose. I get almost a rye dough.
I am keeping my notes while we're doing this because we don't have notes on this. So as I'm typing, this is me.
This is what you do at home.
Making history.
We're getting a look at what you do at home when
Yes.
you're putting your notes in.
This is history in the making.
What I'm doing is not tracking it, and then later on, I would not be able to find my notes.
Or you'd put it in that great file.
Yeah, I would be like, this one's so special, I'm going to handwrite it, and then I can't find what I hand wrote it in, which is why I'm trying to go exclusively on my phone now. Phone's usually close by. Yes, I know it's not as visually appealing as all his tech goodness going on over here, but I'll pull out my phone. That's where I keep my notes. Okay, I got to try this.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
Oak. Strong oak on the nose.
Huh.
I'm going to try
I've let a little saliva build up.
I call it Bart's angry chipmunk face when he's open mouth breathing.
This is strong, dude. Wow.
Strong, but good.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Burst of rye flavor, but it's not a sharp, overpowering rye. Caramel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. The burst is huge. I took just a sip with saliva in my mouth to kind of naturally bring it down, and it was still real powerful. That's the alcohol's got the power there.
I want to say chocolate. Rye.
It's got a few,
Vanilla.
yeah, the vanilla almost zinged me like, hey, it's got a touch of bourbon kind of in it with the vanilla, which surprised me. It's got a creamy feel toward the end.
Creamy.
The aftertaste is not carried as far as some bourbons that I have, where I'll get that butterscotch cream lingering out. I'm not getting much of a linger. But I do still get a bit of that oaky vanilla.
Yep.
I'm going to add a pretty good amount of water here. Not crazy, but I'm going to really bring it down.
Now, I had seen at least one reviewer who,
Doing
in
two
his
of these.
opinion, was that the 13 years, 1 month, and 12 days was the threshold.
Really?
Had this spent any more time in there, the oak would have really overpowered all the other notes, in his opinion. And I can tell you, and bourbons and America's whiskeys are tough because of the temperature fluctuations. I mean, you don't see the 25, the 50-year-old
Yeah, it'd be way
stuff.
too. Yeah.
Exactly, it's too long with the seasonal changes.
Which is great. Nice turnaround.
Yeah, and really, it just depends on the warehouse. It depends on the location and the seasons, but 13 to 17, 18 years seems like is kind of the...
Some paper in there. Sorry.
Nice.
You left it.
But it kind of seems, just like I say, it depends, but that seems like the threshold. There's some in the 21, 23 year range that you find that are good, but I've also seen some examples of stuff where distilleries threw stuff out that was 21 and 23 years old because they got in to taste it and it was ruined. They'd let it sit for too long.
Thrown out.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't they like put it with some raw whiskey and then throw like cinnamon in there and call it Fire Jack?
My opinion was put it out, sell it. Maybe let people try it
maybe
and
it's
see.
way
But
bad,
yeah,
though.
exactly. That's
Maybe
what
it's just,
it was. Yeah.
I want to try something that's way bad. Put out a bottle called Way Bad.
I know.
Way bad, $25.
This is
People
bad
buy it all. Stuff.
Right
Bad
there.
shading
stuff.
dang.
Bad stuff.
Bad shading dang.
Buyer beware.
Yeah, don't buy this. Boom, we're buying it. It'd sell out. Don't buy this. It's our lowest version. All right, the nose, I can get my nose right down in it now. Wow, still got to be careful.
Cinnamon.
Man, I still get floral.
I'm going with a little bit of water now.
Okay.
Man, I just took even neat. Delicious.
I get a
The
little...
mouthfeel.
The nose after diluted, I'm getting a little bit more of the oak, which I couldn't really get on the nose as well. I want to say maybe a little bit of black licorice.
Yeah.
Boy, it's still a punch in the nose, though. You got to watch out. I just went too deep.
Let's let this air a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about what
Let me
would you
take
say
another.
we've done 200 episodes. Whiskey reviews. What would you say is your favorite one?
Topic or bottle? Because we
Favorite
pair a
video
topic.
review. Favorite video review.
Oh, shoot. Okay, there's still a caveat here. If it's the one we've had the most fun doing, it was clearly the Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, because I laughed my ass off as we filmed. I mean, the wife was there as we were filming, and we got a case of the giggles a little bit. You brought in these fake mustaches. It's why I'm hedging is it's definitely not my favorite bottle we reviewed. Clearly, that was cool.
Right.
But it's the most fun I had. If somebody, I mean, right there, I knew right there. What are we? 25 episodes in then? 15?
I don't think we were that far. Yeah, 12 to 15.
I knew right then this is a party. We're going to have fun. That's why I'm saying I knew we would be able to go long, because that amount of joy I had there, you don't need to pay me. You don't need to like it, thumb it. You don't need to subscribe. If that wasn't filmed, we had a blast.
Yeah.
And so that's when I knew this is going to run, because I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
And so that's my favorite episode overall is the Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
Not my favorite review bottle, but my favorite episode.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that one too. That one was a lot of fun.
I agree. I mean, it was
And
it was hilarious.
if you haven't watched, it doesn't have a lot of views. It's one of our first ones. But
Right.
if you haven't seen the Ron Burgundy Scotch video,
Oh yeah, go check it out. Now,
Scotch.
as far as actors, we could not quite stay in character.
I could.
Yeah, I had a hard. Yeah, but you would like start smirking and it would blow me up, dude. It was like all these laugh takes with the stars when they can't get their lines out because they're laughing too hard. But that's my favorite. Now, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite bottle we reviewed? Because
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. That's
It
different.
was a sample that was sent to us.
Okay, it's got to be that. Hold on. Ton 1509.
No.
Oh shoot, that was a good one.
No.
I was sure that was going to be one of yours. Was the Ton 15?
As soon as I say it, you
Okay, hold on. I can't think of it, and it's bad TV.
It was
What
a
is it?
Gordon and MacPhail edition, a Spey Malt Macallan from 1971. That was 38 years old.
Yeah, that was smooth.
That was delicious.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to like it because I like younger whiskeys, and usually they're too oaked for me as they get just my palate. And that one was smooth. The oak was there, but it wasn't overpowering. It was delicious bottle.
Yours?
Boy, you know, I really love the Lefroy Cask Strength 10. I mean, it just really crystallized that this is my favorite bottle. I wouldn't say it's my favorite review that we've done, but it's definitely probably my favorite bottle. And although I was just telling you the Brooklady, Port Charlotte, Scottish barley, I don't know if it's in, but the dark gray charcoal can, that is really competing with Lefroy.
Really?
For me, it is. Love it. So, what are you getting? We're back in. It's sat. I nose mine and taste it a little bit.
It really brings out, there's still, I mean, it seems like there's such a mild rye to it. And I think that maybe the time in the barrel has picked up more of that, the charring maybe, and I'm still getting just a lot of vanilla and a lot of chocolate, caramel, toffee, cinnamon, a little bit of the rye.
Well, I get a lot of rye. Really, the alcohol is really zinging on my tongue. Even I'm going to have to bring it down some more. The rye is not lingering as long as I'm used to. And I got to be careful that I don't like stun the taste buds here with the alcohol content. I get a little like rye burst, like poof, and then it just kind of fades into that, like you're saying, those strong vanilla notes. I got to admit, prejudging, I thought this was going to be like that heavy rye bread flavoring that we were going to get, but it's a lot subtler than that. It's more subtle than I thought it was going to be. Not in the alcohol, but in the rye flavor. I thought it was going to be one of those ryes that punch you in the face.
This reminds me a lot of the BTAC edition of the George Stagg. Maybe just because of the alcohol content.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
these deep, rich flavors that are coming through with it. Probably at the 13 years that it's spent in the wood.
Right. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of the oily tannins from the wood. I've got a lingering coating in my mouth. I'm looking for that aftertaste, and it's just not quite there for me. And what you're seeing here is exactly what I'm doing. And this is one I would add an ice cube to as well after I bring it down. Just part of what I do, which you're seeing a little bit, is I'll taste it neat, nose it neat, taste it neat, add some water, repeat, add a little more water, repeat. Sometimes at this point, I'll even add in an ice cube. Chilling the liquid down sometimes deadens some of the flavors, so it's the thing I do last usually. And then I'll continue to basically nose and taste as that cube melts, which is continually bringing down that ABV. Now obviously we don't have a cube down here, but I'm going to taste this and then I'm going to add a little more water. Do Do you have
this is harder on camera than I remember.
what
when you're sitting at home and you've got your own time and you're sitting there and you're nosing it and you're smelling it and you're picking up on stuff. Now I'm sitting here going, okay, people are waiting.
Well, that's one reason I think we work great as a duo, because one thing we'll try to do is, while let's say I've just nosed it and I'm telling you what my nose is, maybe he's starting to taste it. And then he'll be ready to say, hey, I get these tastes, and then I'm tasting it. We try to limit some of the downtime. We talked about doing that intentionally. In my opinion, one of the hardest things to watch with any kind of whiskey review is when someone's chewing on it. If you just see me doing my angry chipmunk for 2 minutes, you're like, okay.
Yeah, time to switch.
Okay. But meanwhile, you've got him talking, and you're like, oh, okay, they're filling time. Oh, he's making fun of his angry chipmunk. That's kind of funny.
This is, I think I've gotten so far the notes. The sweet, I'm trying to narrow down what I would call the sweetness. And really it's still just a brown sugar. I mean, there's some of that orange zest.
Yeah.
You know, that's still in there. To me, the darkness of it, the chocolate and the caramel.
Huh.
I mean, it almost seems like, I mean, it does not seem, this is not 100% rye. You know, this is a rye, it has some rye in the mash bill, but what percentage? Who knows? That recipe is gone.
Well, now I'm feeling dumb, because what's the rules on a rye? It doesn't have to be 51% rye?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Just like a bourbon's got to be 51% corn.
Yes.
All right, keep bringing it down. As it comes down, I get more of that brown sugary flavor in the background. The nose is still rye, like a rye dough, but definitely with what I get is more of a black licorice still. A bit of floral. And almost like a little bit of that mash bill in there, like it's like brewer's yeast sitting there. And the flavor is, I've really brought it down enough that the alcohol burn's completely gone at this point in time. And I'm going to continue taking it down. And again, this is exactly what I do, at least, when I'm tasting at night with a little bit of music on in the background. Whoa. Love some Mumford & Sons while I'm tasting. Nothing.
That would be okay.
Yeah. And I'm usually ensconced in like a manga blanket. Because it brings peace and serenity.
Well, I looked up, this is labeled a straight rye whiskey, so I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I would imagine straight rye's meaning it's 3 years, right?
2 years.
2?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, 2.
So rye whiskey has to be at least 51%.
Rye.
And for a straight rye whiskey, it has to be aged at least 2 years.
Sorry. Yeah, I fell into my Scotch 3-year rule there. I know it's bourbon 2, rye 2. Cool. Good. Well, we'll continue to nose and drink here. Is there anything else you want to add? I mean, first of all, congratulations on 200 episodes.
Thank you.
I mean, it's great. Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
And are we going to end up doing to the Booker's bottle what we did to the Keoila bottle?
I don't know.
Maybe I'll have to steal this from you and get hold of Scotch Trooper and say, hey, we need one with our 200th bottle.
Let's talk prices of whiskey.
Okay. Because we got to still do a is it worth it segment at the very end. And we got to score this too, but prices.
Well, let's don't go into is it worth it yet, but
Okay.
prices. This is $300 a bottle. $2.99. Now, this limited edition, however many barrels, was put aside. And I've looked online to see how many are out there. They say the common
Damn, this is good.
common consensus is there's 7,000 to 9,000 bottles of this out there. Okay.
-1.
I'm going to tell you, $300 seems pretty high for that.
I wouldn't have bought it. You are I think I've noticed a different trend in us. You really kind of love the history behind a bottle.
Yeah.
Me, not quite as much.
That's why you got into Scotch, though.
I love the history of the spirit I'm saying the history of a bottle. Now, if I was filthy rich, sure, hey, give me 5. We're opening 2 with my buddies, and I'll save the other 3 in the vault. The history of the spirit I'm into. The history of the bottle, probably not quite as much. And I'm not detracting, it's just, because I bought I think I've only bought one $300 bottle, maybe 2. So, but you seem to, like I said, your collector side, I think that really appeals to you. And
Yeah.
I'm glad it does.
Well, okay. So now let's talk. There's some other limited editions of whiskeys that I've bought. One, for example, there was 1,600 bottles of it, and it was $300. That was a few years ago.
We're talking the General? Yeah, the General. Which was too oaky for me.
Recently, the Circus, Compass Box Circus.
I've not tried that one yet.
2,400 bottles of it.
You've kept that one
$212.
hidden.
$220.
Haven't seen it.
So if there's 7 to 9, and that's Scotch that's being imported into the country. Less bottles of it available. Lower price tag. This is being made in the United States, released in the United States. There's more bottles of it, and they slap this higher price tag on it.
A lot of demand, though. I mean, it's a good and a bad thing. I mean, I wish I could get that for $90.
Yes.
But with the demand on it, I'm a huge supply and demand guy. Charge what you can get.
That's a sign of the times, though.
For now, everything's
And
circular. Circular? Secular?
I don't know how
Secular.
I don't know
Secular.
how we stand up to the bourbon companies, and I know there was on Twitter there were several bourbon whiskey bloggers that were quitting, that were giving up because the prices of the prices are out of control.
No, I'm going to totally disagree there. I am a huge supply and demand guy.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about writers that have been doing it for years, and they're used to paying X for bourbons, and they're seeing so many come out that aren't to the standards that they should be, and they're charging double X amount.
And they're quitting though. So what? Go write a review on Zima then. Okay, because you can get that cheap. Go write a review on Mike's Hard Lemonade. Those are cheap.
I think that's how you stand up to the.
No, what's
the
to stand
companies.
up to? Supply and demand is this. If they say this is $1,000 and nobody buys it, then it comes down. If people are lined up to buy it at $1,000, then they get it for $1,000. Now, could you and I afford it? Hell no. But that's the world. That's the way it is. If the market crashes like it did in the 60s, and everybody's sitting on gallons and gallons of whiskey and they can't sell it and it's costing them money and they got to bring it to market and they're contemplating dumping it down the sewer, and then you and I are going and buying this for $50 and we're going, wow, we're in a perfect era. But that's the risk they take. So here's the deal. Supply and demand, I mean, it's just economics. If you can get the price for it, get the price for it. Here's the beauty of it. All the craft distillers that are opening up are going to be coming into the market. Scotch prices are competing in a worldwide market. That should keep the price fairly low. But yes, India is exploding into wanting to buy all these whiskeys. And that's going to drive price up. So is China. But also you got Taiwan coming out with Kavlon. You got Sullivan's Cove coming out from Tasmania. So there's all these, what'll happen is the market responds to the demand, and if we're lucky, which I think we will be, when we're maybe 55, 60, so 15 years out, give or take, there may be a dip and all of a sudden people want gin. Hey, we want gin now. Gin's huge. You and I are basking. Oh, it will. Everything cycles. Everything ebbs and flows. And you and I will be sitting there going, woo, I remember when we were 45 and we had to pay X amount. Now we're getting it for this price. So everything will ebb and flow. And that's some of the risk that these distillers take, though. They've got to lay this, 13 years?
Yeah.
So this is laid down 13 years ago when whiskey prices were very low. And lo and behold, I bet you they wish they had another 1,000 barrels of this stuff, and they don't.
Sure.
But how did they know the market was going to be booming right now? So yeah, and we're in a weird area as reviewers. We're drawing people in. There's people chiming in saying, I've never tried whiskey. I'm trying it because of you guys. Well, under that deal, we should be going, no, don't try it because of us. You're going to drive the price up. No, heck, everybody jump on board. Meanwhile, though, we're trying bottled and bond. And the Dickel rye is very affordable and extremely flavorful. I could buy 8 Dickels for the price of this.
Probably more than that.
That sentence is a little weird. All right, sorry. That's
That's quite a tangent.
Right.
I'm telling you, I don't think it's supply and demand when a brand new distillery, craft distillery, puts out its first edition of bottles and it's $50 a bottle. That's not supply and demand.
Sure,
I don't think when
Sure it is.
When retail of a Pappy Van Winkle 21 or 23-year-old's $149.
That's good. Oh well, that's marketing.
And that's retail.
Yeah.
Aftermarket or secondhand or people jacking up the prices is much more.
But again, that's supply and demand.
But they set the retail on this at $2.99.
Okay, let's say you bought this and you never opened it. All right. And it becomes this prized bottle and you hold on to it for 10 years. And let's say the laws change and you're able to, well, let's say Sotheby's or some big auctioneer market gets it, follows all the laws and puts it up for auction. And it's so sought after that you end up getting $10,000 for this unopened bottle of Booker's rye in 10 years. And there's a guy from the up and coming Silicon Valley that's just floating in cash that says, heck yeah, I'll buy that bottle for 10 grand. You can't get it anywhere. Mm-hmm. That's supply and demand. There's very little in supply. There may not be a lot of demand, but if there's enough demand, you'll get the $10,000 for it. Does that make you wrong for selling that bottle that you bought for $300 for $10,000?
No, I think that's not what's wrong. What's wrong is the manufacturers, the distilleries that are charging the prices that they're charging.
Why would that be wrong, though? I mean, they're making a profit no matter what. I mean, if you want to talk about obscene profit, look at Apple. I mean, come on. I mean, the profit they make off of your equipment you got displayed here in my phone, that's obscene.
What this is doing, though, is not opening the door because it started. We've seen the trend of the uptick in the prices. The prices are getting outrageous. 10 years, we might not be drinking bourbon because we can't afford it. We might have to drink the gin.
There'll be a competitor. See, what'll happen is, as the market, the problem is 10 years is going to be better. Right now,
why would it be better in 10 years?
Because we're drinking stuff they laid down 5 years ago.
So you're saying that they're, depending on how the fluctuates.
My God. Yeah, listen to Mark Gillespie's show.
So it's okay for them to rape us now, because in 10 years it'll be okay.
There's no raping.
That's
What's
you're
going
saying.
on. Listen to Mark Gillespie's show, Whiskey Cask. These distillers are buying warehouses and laying down unprecedented amount of juice. And that's at great risk to them because this firestorm of market may not be the same strength. I think it will be because of these other countries and a worldwide demand. But they're now laying down, but they've got to lay down for their spirits for what it's going to be in the future. So right now there's tons and tons coming in. Now our hope is that they're able to keep up the volume to the demand. Prices will stay relatively even. If they overproduce, you'll see prices go down, and you and I will be we'll be like, woo! I mean, that's what I'm saying. It'll be like a whiskey heaven for us because suddenly people want gin. I want gin. All right, Zima's back. Okay, that's 5-10 years from now. But they've laid down stock to respond to a world market. It's a hard thing to do, but I mean,
I'm actually surprised you take that route.
Oh, I'm a huge, first of all, libertarian. Second of all, love economics and supply and demand. The free market is the key. Great risk can be done by the company, and if they read the tea leaves right, they make money. But you got to remember, they're making money now. There may be a downturn later. The company, if they're smart, has diversified. Maybe they even are running some gin. So when gin becomes hot, wow, gin's up, whiskey's down. and they're able to compete. But yeah, when it's in demand, they're doing us a favor by bringing this to us. I am
And
pleased to
charging
drink
us
this. Of course, but we can
$300.
afford it.
You said you wouldn't buy it.
I could afford it, but I wouldn't buy it because the price is up there.
Oh, okay.
But the demand is still there. I will not buy this for $300.
So you don't like the price.
That's the free
But it's
market.
okay.
That's the free market. If this was a $500, would you have bought it?
I still might have.
Okay. What
Just
if it was
because-
$1,000?
Because this is the only rye that Booker's has done.
Okay. If it's $1,000, would you have bought
And
it?
this recipe may not be duplicated.
Sure. What if it's a grand?
1,000, no.
No. So what's your drop-off point? 700?
I don't know. I
Okay.
haven't thought that far
All right.
ahead.
My drop-off point.
I'm just saying.
Probably 100
that
for this.
This is opening the door now for Dickel to make a special edition rye and charge $300 for it.
Sure.
And you won't buy it.
Yeah, but there's bottles out there that are
But it's
going
okay
for 10
because other
grand that we
people
can't get.
will.
Sure, that's supply and demand. That is supply and demand. I mean, it really is. And these are luxury goods, let's be honest. I mean, if this was a bottle of water that cost that much and it was life or death, well, that would be illegal. That would be crazy. But if it's a luxury good, whatever they can get for it, they should.
You're going to have to edit that out because you're
I think it's awesome.
You're dragging.
No, it's awesome. Come on, it's our 200th episode. Put it in. You even said this would run long. All right, well, back to you. I'll shut up. How you doing? This is our 200th episode. This will probably be the best ever.
Yeah.
Manga shirt is what brought him in.
It's okay for the distilleries to rape us. You just have to go along with it. In
First
10
of all,
years, it's going to be
there's
better.
some feminists that are very upset with you continuing to say rape. That makes them mad. I don't think when you voluntarily hand over
I
your
think
cash for a
the
bottle that
distilleries need
there's
to
a sexual assault involved.
Treat us fairly.
Did anybody hold a gun to you and say, give them your money for that bottle? No, you made a transaction.
Okay, so I scored it.
Sorry.
What do you score it?
89.
89.
Yep, 89. It's good.
You've gone on about how delicious it is.
It's delicious. 89's a good score. There's a few ryes that'll break the 90s. This one is good. 89's never a bad score for me, but it doesn't get into my 90s.
Oh yeah, 93.
Okay, there you go.
I will be hard pressed to not.
I think your score had to go up for you to justify that
now.
price you paid.
Yeah, so is it worth it?
No,
No,
no.
it's not. That's a $150 bottle.
Sure, and I probably still wouldn't buy it at $150. But I think you're right. $150 would be great, but
So I can't figure. You don't agree with the pricing, and you wouldn't spend that much, but it's
No.
okay for
they
them
can
to
charge
do it.
whatever they want, free market. I wouldn't
That's
buy
what
it
we're
at $300.
debating.
I wouldn't buy it at $150. To me, I can go get a Dickel rye for $24.99, and I enjoy it as much as this. It's a different flavor. They're not the same flavor, but I'm getting that rye flavor off of both. Now this is way higher ABV, so I could water it down.
It's
I
so
could extend
rich
it.
and it's really so
It is.
dark.
It
so
is.
fulfilling.
But to me, it's
mouthfeel.
not far enough away from the enjoyment I get from a Dickel rye to justify the price even at $150 for me. But you know I've paid $300 for a Brooklotti Black Arts.
Would at 150? Would you say it's worth it?
No.
100.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see 100. I mean, if this is a $100 bottle, I would say it's worth it. Would I still buy it? I don't know.
I would
But
say,
it's
150
definitely worth
is my
it.
top end.
Well, the craft end, the years it's spent in, I think there's a little bit of marketing on here, me personally. Maybe a lot of marketing on here for me personally. That's all just part of the business. But I think the age of the spirit, that is definitely a higher value. The limited number of bottles definitely brings it in there. Not everybody can get a hold of one of these.
But it's not even that limited. If there's 7,000 to 9,000 bottles.
That's still pretty limited, though. I mean, you're talking, when they go lay down 80,000 of the Northern Harvest Rye Crown Royal, heck, it's more than 80,000.
I was going to say it's probably more than that.
Oh, it's probably 1 million cases. I mean, so
Yeah.
you're talking fairly limited still. And when you've got a limited bottle,
limited.
the price is going to come up. So, I mean, it's just limited. You're getting to experience something that most people won't. I get to experience it too because of you. Thank you.
By the way, you had 2. Don't pour any more.
What are you talking about? What? What do you mean? I never noticed. So I would say no. It is not worth it. It's delicious, but it's not worth it.
I've got to say it's not worth it too. It is delicious. It is good, but it's not worth $300.
Now I'm pleased you opened it up. I'm still curious.
The history of
what
the
else?
bottle, the story of the bottle, I guess, is worth $300.
I don't know. Feels like marketing to me. See, but when you say it's worth $300, the history, that's marketing. That's what they want you to do. They get paid a lot of money in marketing to make you say what you just said. And I'm not against it. I mean, I got some bottles back here that are purchased because of marketing. I mean, it's just the way it is. Look at what we did with Redbreast. I mean, marketing made me buy that, dude. I went and bought Redbreast because of the Irish accent on Gillespie's show. I was like, I gotta go buy that. I want 12 year liquid gold. Liquid gold, laddie. I was like, I gotta have some liquid gold. So marketing is there for a reason. It makes you go out and buy something. 200th episode. We knew we were gonna go long. I did not expect we would get into a supply and demand discussion. I think that is gold. That's what I think.
We'll see.
You don't think people like it?
It's a good discussion.
I think it's a
You
phenomenal
kind of
discussion.
drug it on. Yeah, there might be some of those captions on the screen that show up.
But I'm editing this one, so there won't be any captions except maybe putting over like dork or idiot. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm much nicer to you in my editing than you are to me. So should I say it? Should I say Scotch it? Are you ready? Our 200th episode is closing, or do you want to say it? Should we
First
switch
of all,
it?
thank you
Well, thank you for being here
to
for
you
200.
guys. That's how we made it this far.
Yeah. And you want to go see us looking really silly, go watch that Ron Burgundy video because it's hilarious. We got to bring those stashes back. I've got them somewhere.
Do you?
Somewhere.
I don't know what happened to them.
They're here. I saw them in a cabinet. I think I got them. Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Cilantro.
Dummies.